You hear the word God, the word Jehovah, the word Lord, the word Jesus, the word Christ, and you think of something other than yourself, one that is greater, one that you would worship. It is my purpose to show you that God and the eye of man are one. When you say I am, that is the God of Scripture. We turn now to the 16th chapter of Matthew, and the question is asked of the disciples, the followers, those who have heard him. And he said to them, "Who do you say that I am?" And the spokesman called Peter answered and said, "Thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. Blessed art thou, for flesh and blood could not have told you this, but my Father who is in heaven." Here he equates the Son of Man with the eye of man. Not the organ that sees or through which you see, but your sense of awareness, that I amness, when you are aware of being, your consciousness, your human imagination, the eye of man. And he calls it the Christ, and defines Christ as the Son of God, the power of God, and the wisdom of God. So the eye of man is the power of God and the wisdom of God. If man does not know it, well, then he will not exercise that power. So when you say I, before you say anything, that is the power and the wisdom of God. You can't separate the power of God and the wisdom of God from God. So you will say in the end, I and my Father are one, for he is called the Son of God. When I tell you that your own wonderful I amness is God, well, now I'm going to tell you that you really are God. Your own wonderful consciousness, your human imagination, that is the God of Scripture. And there is no other God. Imprisoned as you are in these bodies of flesh, you did it for a purpose. Now let us see what it tells us about this Son of Man that is now equated with the eye of man. No one has ever ascended into heaven but he who descended from heaven, the Son of Man. Here we find you are a pre-existent being. No one can ascend into heaven but he who descended from heaven, the Son of Man. Your ascension in the next verse, the 14th verse, is showing you how you ascend. As Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, so must the Son of Man be lifted up. You descended into generation in a world of death where everything begins, it waxes, it wanes, and then it disappears. But there's something in you, clothed in this garment that does die, that is pre-existent, and its home is heaven, which is harmony. You gave it up completely. You aren't pretending that you're a man. You descended into man. You became man with all the weaknesses, all the limitations, all the restrictions of man, to experience this world of death and decay. There will come a moment in time that you will ascend from this restriction, taking with you the experience that is yours because of this restriction. And you will ascend in the same manner that Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness. That was an adumbration. That was a foreshadowing. You will rise from the base of your spine, up your spine into your own skull, for heaven is within you. And you will rise like a fiery serpent without any loss of identity. The form you wear, I hesitate to describe it. I will tell you that your face is human, your hands are human, your voice is human, but do not ask me to describe the body that you wear. It's infinite power But the I of man is the God of Scripture. There are ranks in heaven as they are on earth, for this is only a copy. Everything here is a shadow. It's a copy of the eternal realities. We are called, incorporated into the body of infinite love, who is God. Believe me that when you say I, before you say I am this, I am that, I am the other, you are declaring yourself to be. And that sense of being is God. That's God. Now what are you going to put on it? All things are possible to God. All things. If you believe what I tell you about your own I amness and remain faithful to what you have assumed, that assumption will harden into fact. When you pray in the true sense of the word, you do not pray to any external God. Everything written about the Son of Man, which is the I of man, will be accomplished. Man contains within himself all things, everything he creates from within himself. The individual awakens within himself. And who does it? The I of man. And that is God. Test yourselves and see. Do you not realize that Jesus Christ is in you? Examine yourselves to see whether you are holding to the faith. What faith? That your own wonderful I amness is God. Having convinced myself through experience, I have come to the conclusion that because I am aware that I am, that is God. For if by him all things are made, and without him is not anything made that is made, and I start from scratch, only imagining a state, and then I boldly assume that it is real, that I am actually experiencing that state now, and then in the not distant future that state crystallizes in my world, well then I have found God. I have found the source of the phenomena of life. We are one. No one is greater than the other, not fundamentally. It's the same being. There is only one God. The Lord is one. I am. That's my name forever. And by this name I shall be known throughout all generations. I am the cause of the phenomena of my life, good, bad, or indifferent. I have to live with it and change my assumptions if I would change the world in which I live. I say you are myself pushed out because there's only one. Be silent as you commune with self. You don't commune with another, for the self of man is God. Commune with your own heart upon your bed. You aren't communing with another, and then you actually know exactly what you want, and in that state fall asleep, and in a way that no one knows, and you in your surface mind you do not know. It will all come to pass. Everything in the world is created this way. You want to be rich? All right, can be rich. You want to be known? You can be known. No matter what you want, but you must be intense about it. And then commune with your own heart upon your bed, and then let it drop. Believe me, your own wonderful I amness, your consciousness, your wonderful human imagination, that is God. And all that you behold, though it appears without, it is within, in your imagination, of which this world of mortality is but a shadow. So you can change the shadow if you change the object, for you are the light. He said, I am the light of the world. Change the object that you're holding within yourself and identifying yourself with it. Change that object, you're lighting up, and you'll cast a new shadow upon the world. So you say, I am, and you name it. And then you say, I am gainfully employed, making more than I've ever made before. Don't ask yourself how and why and through whom. That is not your conscious reasoning mind's concern. When man awakens from this dream, the whole vast world and all that it contains is as nothing to the being that you are. You came down from heaven, where the whole is yours. So why should I tell anyone of my need when it's all mine anyway? When you awaken, you don't ask anyone if you awaken from this dream of life. When you pray, go within and close the door of the senses. Deny all that seems so obvious, and your Father who is within will reward you openly. But commune with self, for you and the Father are one. So you commune with self. And what did he tell you? Exactly what was asked of you. He heard it, and he has all the ways and means that you on the surface of your being know not of. He will do it. You can ask anything of one if it comes within the framework of his code of ethics. And then you drop it completely. And in the depths of your own being, you're still hearing it. And the Father knows all means, all ways. And so he singles out the best way to externalize it. Go to the end. If I go to the end and give thanks to the end, and for the end, it's done. Now let the one in the depths of my own being devise the best means to take me to that end. The end is where I start. The end is my beginning. Do not attempt to devise the means and tell the one that you ask to pray for you how it should be done. He will lose all interest and turn his back and say, go elsewhere. The end is where we begin. In my end is my beginning. And we're always ahead of our evidence. So I go to the end. I see the whole thing done and then drop it and let it happen in my world. The I within you now, and you say I, no matter how little you have thought yourself so far, may I tell you, you are the infinite God. And when the story of Jesus Christ repeats itself within you, you will know it's all I.